Hey, what's up? This is Jordan Harris, the Mediocre Millionaire. So today's topic is how do you land that big job? So this is going to be looked at from multiple perspectives. So whether you're a person that's looking for a line level employee job, so like working at Target or Walmart, or if you are a salesperson, you're trying to sell for a large company or a small company, and also if you're a business owner and you're trying to sell your own company to different clients out there, this will be helpful for you. What to do before you get that meeting, what to do before you get that interview opportunity. We're going to talk about what to do during the meeting or the interview, and then we're going to talk about what you should do after the interview or the meeting. It doesn't really matter where you are in your professional journey. This video will be able to help you in one way or another. So stick around, we're about to get right into it.
What I want out here, yeah.
Okay, so before we get started, it is incredibly important to understand that the people who come across as being really nervous in an interview or a meeting are those people who are trying to present a rehearsed version of themselves rather than just being themselves. If you're natural, if you're being yourself, it's going to come across as being natural. So that's the most important thing. Pick a position that you know you will kill. Pick a position that you know you have the qualifications for, because if you do that, you're going to go into this meeting feeling like they need you rather than you need them. If I pick a job, let's say I own a janitorial company. So if I know there's a company out there that is struggling with their cleaning company, I know that they need our services just as much as we need their money. So I go into those meetings extremely confident. I'm not nervous, hoping that they give me the business. I'm confident because I'm like, you need to sell me. Why do I need to be here? You need to sell me on why I need to have my employees come here and clean your building for however much we ask you for. So make sure before you start your job search or before you start calling people, asking for opportunities to apply or asking for opportunities to interview, make sure that you will be able to perform those tasks extremely well. Okay, so once you have a list of opportunities, go ahead and apply to all of those and write those down on a list. The reason why you want to write those down on a list is because after about 2 days or so, you want to make sure that if you don't hear from them, make sure you give a phone call to each and every one that you've applied for. If for whatever reason, after you've called every location, if you don't hear anything back from one of those companies, give them a call back. So call twice. If you don't hear anything back, I will call the third time. My thing is to make people tell me no. So like I said, once again, I own a janitorial operation, a janitorial business. If I really want to work with the company, I will call them over and over, asking to speak with the person that oversees the cleaning contract, and I will make them pick up the phone and say, no, we're not interested. If the receptionist says so-and-so is busy, okay, I'll call back tomorrow or I'll call back in an hour. I will continue doing that until someone answers the phone, a representative who I need to speak with answers the phone and says no. Once they actually say no, then I'll stop and I'll go and do something different. I'll go bug somebody else. Okay, so now let's talk about what to do once you do get that phone call and they tell you to come in for that interview or for that important meeting. So anytime I have someone call me and say, hey, Jordan, we do want to talk to you about your janitorial services, I'll always start to research their company. So the first thing I do is pull up their website. I want to know how long they've been around. I want to know how many locations they have. It's important to know quite a few quick facts about each business. The main reason why is, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, but the main reason why is because you want to be able to sell your personality. And to do that, you've got to have talking points. Whether it's talking about the football game last night, no matter what it is, you've got to have talking points. And the best talking point is going to be their business. So now let's talk about what to do when you actually have the opportunity. So the first thing you want to do is you want to dress accordingly. I understand what it's like whenever you don't have any money to buy fancy clothes and all that stuff. I've been there. I understand. But if you're going in to do an interview or if you're going to meet with a potential client, you need to dress the part. This tells them that you're actually interested in working with them and you're not just going to show up and do a ragtag job once you do get the position. So you want to at least wear a polo, you want to wear slacks, and you want to wear dress shoes. If you're applying for a major management position, you might want to go ahead and invest in a suit for a couple $100 from Dillard's or from JCPenney's, like a lower end suit. You might want to invest in one of those if you're going for a management position. Okay, so once you're properly dressed, the next important thing is to actually go to the meeting. I leave everywhere. So I live in Wichita, Kansas. Traffic is not bad here. But it doesn't matter where I'm going in the city, whether it's down the street or across the city. I leave my building or I leave my house, wherever I'm at, whether I'm in the office or my house, I leave 30 minutes before my meeting time. So if my meeting is at 5 o'clock, I will leave my office at 4:30, no matter what. That way I know I'm not going to be late. I can get to just about anywhere in Wichita in 20 minutes. But I leave that extra 10 minutes just in case there's a wreck or if I have to go take a different detour or whatever it may be, I leave myself an extra 10 minutes. And also clients do appreciate if you show up a little bit early because sometimes they're trying to either go to lunch early or they're trying to go home early and you're their last meeting of the day or the last meeting of the morning. So when you arrive, you'll want to walk into the building and you ask for the person that you're looking to meet. So you'll walk in and you'll introduce yourself. My name is Jordan Harris. I'm here to meet with Clark about the janitorial industry. Or my name is Jordan Harris. I'm here to interview with Justine. You want to walk in and introduce yourself and tell the people at the receptionist who you are and what you're there for. That's the main thing. And then once the person comes out to meet you, the next thing that goes through your mind needs to be the importance of body language. People underestimate the importance of body language all the time, but it is incredibly important. So a few tips that you want to make sure that you remember are when you walk in or when you're walking to the person that's going to be interviewing you or the person that you're meeting with, the first thing you do is what? Exactly, you reach for a handshake. So you stand up and you reach. You do not reach with your hand down. Body language, this tells people that you are dominant and you may be hard to work with. Whenever you reach for a handshake, your palm should be showing. And this may look weird to you, it may feel weird initially, but showing the palm of your hand is a submissive move. So it tells them that you're easy to get along with and you're willing to work with people. So never do this, never reach your hand out this way, always reach your hand out that way, showing the palm of your hand. Okay, it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be this way. It should be slightly showing the palm. Okay, so you also want to make sure that your handshake is firm. So you reach out with the palm showing up and your hand, the web of your hand should meet the web of the other person's hand whenever you bring them together to shake. And then when you do shake, you just give a firm handshake. You don't try to break their hand. You don't do anything weird like that. Just hold it for a couple moments and then let go. I've had people hold my hand too long and it just gets awkward. You don't want to be that person. So whether it's a man or a woman, firm handshake. Don't squeeze too hard, but just give a firm handshake to let them know that you're there. Your stance is also important. So if you're one of those people that walk around with their shoulders slumped like this, you don't want to do that. Make sure your shoulders are back. Make sure your chest is out. That's a confident stance. It's not an overconfident or an arrogant thing. It's just a confident stance. No one really wants to work with somebody who has no confidence and doesn't believe in what they're selling. But if you walk in there with your shoulders back and your chest out and you reach out and you give a firm handshake, you're going to be winning from the jump. Okay, one of the other most important parts of body language is a natural smile. Okay, you don't want to walk in there with your cheeks pulled back as if somebody's holding them, like you're forcing a smile. That's the rehearsed version of yourself. You don't want to do that. Go in there with a natural smile that shows that you're happy to be there and you're looking forward to the meeting. A simple acknowledgement is also incredibly important. So if you're walking around talking to someone or if you're sitting in the meeting with a potential client or the person interviewing you, you want to make sure that you are optically, you want to show them that you are paying attention. So you want to show them that you're paying attention by either nodding your head or doing what I do, which is verbally telling them that I'm listening. So I will always say, okay, I understand, or I hear you. Those are the two things I always say. Those are the two phrases I go to all the time. If I'm walking around talking to a potential client and they say, oh, I hate the way that the past company did this, I say, okay, I understand what you're saying. Or if they say, I don't like the way the last company did that, I'll say, I hear you. So that tells them that I'm actually paying attention to what they're saying. And then the next thing that you want to do to prove that you're paying attention is take notes. So there's multiple ways to do that, obviously. You can have a pen and pad, as I have. I carry around a binder that's got a pen and pad inside of it. But a lot of times, I don't even open up my binder. What I take notes on is my phone. So I'll walk around, and the first thing I do whenever I pull my phone out is I'll look at the client, the potential client, and I'll say, do you mind if I take notes on my phone? And there's a reason why I do that. For one, you want them to know that you're taking notes. Okay? You want them to realize and acknowledge the fact that you are taking notes and you're paying attention. The other part is you don't want to annoy them or irritate them because they're thinking that you're sending a text message or you're flipping through pictures or something. So it's important to acknowledge and let them know, hey, I'm not taking pictures, I'm not doing anything weird like that, I'm just taking notes on my phone. It is important to realize and understand that personality, it does matter. Personality matters when you're interviewing, especially if you're interviewing for like a management position or if you're selling your own company. So you want to smile, obviously. The most important thing is that you want to be yourself. The reason why you want to be yourself is because you don't want to get hired on because you were extremely happy and bubbly in the interview. And then once you get the job, the manager that you're working with is like, this is not the dude I hired. So they end up finding a way to get you out of the door. So whenever you come into the location, you do want to be yourself. You also want to have some common questions. So remember I was talking about an important thing is to do a little bit of research on the company before you get there. So that is crucial whenever it comes to common questions. You don't want to just have a boring question answer. You don't want them just to ask you a question about the job and then you answer it. And they ask you a question about your experience, you answer it. You want to have natural dialogue where there's actual conversation. Obviously, people always go towards the weather. I think that's kind of a boring, cliche kind of thing to talk about. So I talk, hopefully they're into sports. If they're not, then I can talk about just about anything. I think it's important to be well-rounded. So before I go to meetings, you might think it's crazy, but before I go to meetings, I always look up all the scores to all the sports. I look up to see how LeBron did the night before, because LeBron's a lightning rod. I look up things about the world as far as what's going on overseas. I'll do a quick look at the stock market. So just about anything that person is interested in, I can hold a conversation. I might not be a genius in that area, but I could hold a pretty decent conversation. So if I'm walking down the hallway and I'll see that they have a picture of Carmelo Anthony hanging on the sign, I can tell them, hey, you remember when Melo beat Kansas in the championship in 2003 when he's playing for Syracuse? It's just a conversation starter. And before you know it, they're like, oh, yeah, that's my favorite player. He played with so-and-so, he did this and he did that. And before you know it, they like your personality. And that gives them an additional reason to hire you. So outside of that, you obviously want to ask about how many employees work there. You want to find out how fast they've been growing. You want to know how many locations they have. There's a lot of different things that you can learn just researching the company. And then when you bring those up in that conversation with that either person interviewing you or the potential client, it tells them that you're willing and able to grow with them because you care about the business. So come with at least 5 topics that you can talk about, whether it's, obviously one of them is going to be the business that's talking to you. You want to have some things about the business. You want to know about what's going on in the sports world. You want to know, stay away from politics because people are kind of crazy about politics. They're a little too real about that. Always throw in things about your family. If you have a family, always throw things in about your family. I would even say be looking for an opportunity to talk about your family. That's what I do. So if I'm walking and I'm talking about this and that, if they say something that matches the personality of anybody in my family, I will say, you know, my daughter thinks that way. She says this, and then before you know it, that goes into a whole nother conversation where they say, oh, you've got a daughter? I say, actually, yeah, I've got 2 daughters and I also have a son. And then before you know it, you're talking about your kids and your kids' names and what sports they play and all kind of things. So talk about the business, talk about everything that you're well-rounded in. All right, so everything went well in the walkthrough and the meeting and the talking and everything. So before you leave, you want to make sure that they do have a card. If you didn't give them one when you first came in, give them one when you're leaving. If you're interviewing, obviously you won't have a card, but you do want to make sure you shake their hands. Thank them for their time. Always thank them for your time and for the opportunity to speak with them, because we're all busy. Everybody's busy with their own lives. They don't have to give you the time that they just gave you. So make sure you genuinely thank them for your time. Make sure you have a smile on your face when you say that, and exit the building. The part that a lot of people miss in the job search or whenever they're trying to land an account is they often miss the follow-up portion. So the follow-up is extremely important. You want to send an email, not a text message, not a phone call, but an email as soon as you get back, or at least an hour within the time that you get back to your office or your house. Sit down and send them an email thanking them for their time again and telling them that you're looking forward to working with them. And then also, if they told you about the issues that they might have with their employees or with their cleaning company or whatever it is, reiterate that you have a plan to fix those issues. So you want to separate yourself from the people that they are firing or the people that they've had issues with and they may be considering firing in the future. So if you're sitting in the meeting and they tell you that their employees are late every other day, you want to send an email saying, I understand the issue that you have with your employees currently being late every other day. In my previous experience working, I've never missed a day. I've never been late for this many times, and it's important for me to be on time everywhere I go. I leave my house 30 minutes before I'm supposed to be. Do those kind of things to explain and to put in their mind that you are the right person and you are the right company for the job. I typically call the next day and ask if they have any type of feedback or any type of decision made yet. A lot of times that's too early, but that's fine. They'll tell you that they haven't made a decision, and then they'll give you a timeline on when they most likely will make a decision. They'll say something like, yeah, we did quite a few interviews yesterday. I won't make a decision until Thursday. And then you respond by saying, okay, I'll give you a call back on Thursday. Call until they tell you no. Because you're interested in that job and you want to be hired for it and you have the answers to fix their problems. So you need to make sure that you're assertive in letting them know that. All right, so if you follow every one of those tips, it would be really hard for anybody to pass you up for whatever job you're looking for. Like I said, whether you're trying to work at Target, whether you're trying to be a nurse, if you're trying to be hired on as a salesperson, if you're trying to be hired on as a manager, if you're trying to sell your own company, whatever it is, if you follow all of those instructions and tips, it would be extremely hard to pass you up. So I appreciate you making it to the end of the video. I know it was a lot of information. Looking forward to all the comments and questions and stuff that you have in the comment section below. So once again, thank you. God bless. Take care. You made it through another video. I appreciate your support. I really do. So now the next thing for you to do to support is to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be giving away a lot of free gems, a lot of free information that will help you in your future and also help your family. So I look forward to many more videos with you. Thank you. God bless. Take care.
What out here, yeah.